I don't remember the first time I saw Aaron, but I remember very clearly. The first time I hated him. It wasn't ordinary hatred, not the kind of we just don't get along or I don't like his personality. No, it was something far more primal, more instinctive. As if my body reacted automatically before my mind could even understand what was happening. That morning, I arrived at school earlier than usual. The hallway was almost empty. Sunlight filtered through the long glass panels, casting strips of light across the floor. The silence was so complete I could hear my own footsteps echoing. I liked moments like that. No noise, no one to bother me, until I heard other footsteps. Slow, heavy, unhurried. I turned around, and that was when I saw Aaron for the first time. He stood at the end of the hallway, hands in his pockets, eyes fixed straight on me as if I were the only thing that existed in that space. No greeting, no expression, just staring. A gaze that lasted longer than normal. Long enough to make me uncomfortable. What are you looking at? I spoke first. Mistake. Aaron didn't answer right away. He walked toward me, one step at a time, slow but steady. The distance closed. The air seemed to thicken. Don't like being stared at? He asked. His voice was low, deep, calm in a way that was infuriating. Depends on who's doing it. Then I guess you don't like me. Never did. A pause. And then, Aaron smiled. Not a warm smile. It was a thin curl of the lips, cold, faint, and carrying something provocative. Lucky me, he said. Same here. I don't remember who threw the first punch. I only remember that the next moment, everything exploded. Aaron's first punch wasn't particularly strong, but it was unexpected enough to throw me off balance. I stumbled. My back slamming into a metal locker, a sharp clang rang out. A burning sensation spread across my cheek. And then, something inside me flipped a switch. I lunged at him. No thinking. No hesitation. Just one single thought. Hit back. We wrestled each other to the floor. Shoes scraping, breaths heaving. Impacts echoing through the empty hallway. No one stepped in. No one was there. Just me and Aaron. Two strangers. Fighting like we hated each other for years. After that day, everything became clearer. Aaron became a part of my life. A very unpleasant part. We didn't need reasons to start something. All it took was making eye contact. In class, he sat behind me. I could feel that gaze always there, like an invisible weight pressing down. On the court, he always played rougher whenever I was around. In the hallway, we accidentally collided on a regular basis. And it always ended the same way. Fighting. But there was one thing I never admitted back then. Aaron. Wasn't he like the other troublemakers? He never picked on anyone weaker. Never started anything with anyone else. As if I was the only target. That should have made me more irritated. But somehow, it made everything feel more personal, more dangerous. One afternoon after school, I'd been held back because of fighting with Aaron, of course. By the time I stepped out of the disciplinary office, it was nearly dark. The parking lot was almost empty. I saw him standing there, leaning against his bicycle, head bowed, headphones in. I intended to walk past, say nothing, look at nothing. But as I got closer, Aaron spoke. Hey. I stopped, didn't turn around. What? Wanna fight again tomorrow? I let out a laugh. Not because it was funny, but because the question was just so absurd. You've really got nothing better to do? Nope. Nothing at all? No. I turned to look at him. For the first time, I looked at Aaron without any intention of starting a fight. Just looked, and noticed. He looked tired. Not physically tired. More like the kind of tired that comes from carrying something heavy. His eyes weren't sharp like before. There was only a hollow space. I didn't understand why. But I felt unsettled. Not by him, but by what I was feeling inside myself. I'm busy tomorrow, I said. Aaron shrugged. Some other time then. He rode away. Didn't look back. That night I couldn't sleep. Not from pain. Not from anger. But because I kept thinking about that look in his eyes. That brief moment when Aaron didn't seem like an opponent, but like someone trying to hide something. And the worst part? I started to feel curious. I hated Aaron, but for the first time, I also wanted to understand him. I didn't know it then, but that thought was the first step that changed everything. Not all at once, not loudly, just a slight shift in the way I saw him. But sometimes, all it takes is a small shift for a story to veer in an entirely different direction. The next day, I went to school as usual. And as usual, I deliberately avoided Aaron. Not because I was afraid. I didn't want to face that strange feeling again. But of course, life is never that simple. P.E. class. The outdoor basketball court. The teacher divided teams at random. And somehow by fate's sense of humor, I and Aaron ended up on the same side. You've got to be kidding, I muttered. Aaron stood beside me and shot me a glance. Don't drag us down, he said. I snorted. Worry about yourself. The game began. Tension ran high from the very first minutes. Not because the opposing team was strong, but because Aaron's presence right beside me. He moved fast, precisely, and with real focus. Nothing like the image of someone who only knew how to start fights. I noticed that, and it bothered me because it shattered the simple picture I deconstructed of him. One play, I received the ball from a teammate. Looked up. Aaron was sprinting toward the basket. No one on him. All I had to do was pass. A simple pass. I hesitated. Just 1 second. Then I threw it the other way. Mistake. The ball got stolen. Counterattack. They scored. Damn it, Kyle. Someone shouted. I bit my lip. Said nothing. Aaron passed by me. Didn't look, but said it low enough for me to hear. Did you do that on purpose? I turned. No. Then you're just stupid. That hit somewhere it hurt. I clenched my fist. At least I'm not someone who only knows how to fight. Aaron stopped. Turned his head. That look returned sharp, cold, dangerous. Want to test that? My heart pounded. Part of me wanted to back down. But the rest still refused to yield. Anytime, the game ended in chaos. No one remembered the score. Because I and Aaron fought again. Right there on the court. In front of everyone. This time was different. Not from anger, but because something deeper was driving it. Something suppressed. Unnamed. Unclear. But powerful enough to make us crash into each other like two people who lost their minds. Afterward, we were both suspended for 3 days. 3 days. No Aaron. No sound of his voice. No sight of that gaze. I should have felt relieved. But I didn't. I felt empty. On the second day, I walked through the park near my house. And I saw him. Aaron sitting on a bench, head bowed, hands clasped together. No one around. No phone. No music. Just sitting there. Alone. I could have walked on. I should have walked on. But my feet wouldn't he listen. Thought you liked being alone, I said. Aaron looked up. A flicker of surprise. Then, back to normal. What about you? He asked. I was just passing through. Right? Silence. I stood there. Didn't leave. Didn't speak. Didn't understand what I was doing. Want to sit? Aaron said, his voice quieter than usual. I hesitated. An invitation. From him. The person I fought more times than I could count. Why? I asked. Aaron shrugged. No reason. I should have said no. But I sat down. The gap between us wasn't too close, but not far either. Close enough for me to feel his presence. You're different when you're not at school, I said. Aaron smiled faintly. What am I supposed to be like at school? I don't know. But not like this. Like what? Still. Aaron looked at me. This time. Longer than usual. Not uncomfortable. Not a challenge. Just looking. You're different too, he said. Me? Yeah. How? Aaron was quiet for a moment. Then, less annoying, I laughed. Is that a compliment? Don't get used to it. Another silence. But this time, it wasn't uncomfortable. Do you really hate me? I asked. The question slipped out before I could think. Aaron didn't answer right away. He looked down at his hands. Then said, I don't know. I frowned. What do you mean, you don't know? It's not regular hatred. My heart stopped for a beat. Then what kind is it? Aaron shook his head. Can't explain it. I looked at him. For the first time, I saw Aaron. Uncertain. Maybe, I said slowly, I feel the same way. Aaron turned. Our eyes met. Neither of us said anything more. But that moment changed everything. I didn't realize it right then. But from that day forward, we were no longer just enemies. Something else had taken shape. Very small, very fragile, but enough that when we returned to school after the 3-day suspension and accidentally locked eyes in the crowded hallway, neither of us lunged at the other, just looked. 1 second, 2 seconds. Then, Aaron looked away first, and for the first time, I didn't feel the need to follow. After the 3-day suspension, things didn't go back to how they were. Not completely, anyway. Aaron and I were still at the same school. Still walked past each other every day. Still heard our names mentioned in the same breath. Those two just have to be near each other and something always happens. But nothing happened. No punches. No shoving. Not even the familiar sarcastic remarks. Just distance. A strange kind of distance. No longer confrontation, but not yet anything else. I noticed the change most clearly on a Monday morning. It was colder than usual. My breath came out in small white wisps as I walked through the school gates. I had my head down, texting, when I walked straight into someone. Sorry. I looked up. Aaron. The old reflex nearly kicked an ID already braced for a provocation, or worse, a shove. But nothing happened. He just looked at me, then said, "Watch where you're going." No challenging tone. No edge in his eyes. Just a normal thing to say. Then he walked on. I stood there for a few seconds, feeling off balance. Not because I wanted a fight, but because I didn't know how to react when Aaron wasn't the Aaron I knew. In the days that followed, things continued like that. In class, we still sat near each other but didn't speak. In the schoolyard, we still saw each other but didn't approach. Neither said anything, but both of us knew something was shifting. Until one afternoon. The library. I rarely went there, but that day I needed material for an essay I'd put off for too long. The library was quiet. The smell of old paper and wood slowing the air down. I walked along the shelves, scanning titles, trying to focus. And then, I saw him, Aaron, sitting in the far back corner, near the window. Headphones on, an open book in front of him, but his eyes weren't on the page at all. He was looking outside, far away. I didn't know why, but I walked closer. "Didn't think you liked places like this," I said quietly. Aaron turned his head. A flash of surprise. Then, a small nod. "I don't." "Then why are you here?" "It's quiet." I pulled out a chair and sat down across from him. Without asking. Didn't need to. "What are you reading?" I asked. Aaron looked down at the book. "No idea." I frowned. "What?" "Just grabbed something." He shrugged. I looked at the book. A thick novel, worn cover. The page was open, but showed no sign of being read. "You're really not reading?" Aaron shook his head. "I just needed somewhere to sit." I laughed. "You really are strange." Aaron looked at me. Didn't argue. Just looked. "What about you?" he asked. "I need to write an essay." Topic: relationships that shape a person. Aaron curved his lips slightly. "Sounds boring." "I think so too." A pause. "Am I in it?" Aaron asked suddenly. I froze. My heart skipped a beat. "Maybe." "What role?" "Depends." Aaron leaned back in his chair. "Hope it's not sworn enemy." I looked at him, then said slowly, "Maybe it's not that anymore." Aaron didn't reply, but his eyes shifted. Just a little. But I saw it. "Then what is it?" he asked. I was quiet. Not because I had no answer, but because I wasn't ready to say it out loud. "I don't know yet," I said honestly. Aaron gave a small nod. Yeah. We sat there, without talking much, but without needing to. Time passed slowly. The light outside the window shifted to a pale gold. A moment later, Aaron stood up. "I'm going." Okay. He walked a few steps, then stopped, without turning around. Just said, I have basketball practice after school tomorrow. I looked up. So? Aaron turned his head slightly, half his face visible. You don't always have to fight someone to see them. My heart missed a beat. Yeah, I answered. Aaron left. I stayed, staring at the book in front of me, but unable to read a single word, because in my head, there was only one thought. Maybe we were starting over, not from the beginning, but from somewhere entirely different, somewhere where a thrown punch was no longer the only way to understand each other. The next day, I planned not to go, which sounds stupid, I know. It was just a basketball practice. Not a date, not anything serious. Aaron hadn't even explicitly said he wanted me there. But that was exactly why. I couldn't stop thinking about it. If I go, does that mean I'm trying? That question kept cycling through my head all day. And when the final bell rang, I was still standing in front of the classroom, bag in hand, not moving. Hey Kyle, you're not heading home? Classmate asked. Yeah, I've got something. What? I paused for a second. Basketball. He raised an eyebrow. Since when? Starting today. I didn't wait for him to ask more. I walked out, the basketball court behind the school. The sound of the ball hitting the concrete came in steady beats. I stopped at a distance. Aaron was there, alone, shooting. No team, no coach, just practice. His movements were deliberate, precise, repeating as if he were trying to keep something inside himself in check. I watched for a while, didn't speak, didn't move closer, just watched until Aaron stopped. He wiped the sweat from his wrist, then turned his head toward me, as if he'd known I was there all along. You came, he said. Not a question, a statement. I was just passing by, I replied. Aaron smiled faintly. Yeah. Me too. Neither of us called out the other's lie. Practicing alone? I asked. Yeah. Doesn't he get boring? Aaron shrugged. Used to it. I stepped closer. The space between us. Not as wide as before. Can I play? I asked. 1 second. 2. Aaron looked at me, eyes searching, as if weighing something. Then he threw the ball at me. Caught it. Don't disappoint me, Aaron said. I tilted my chin. Same to you. We started playing. Not a proper game. Just one-on-one. But different from before. No hostility. No intent to hurt. Just competition. Aaron played well. Fast. Fluid. Reading the game well. But this time, I wasn't trying to fight him. I was trying to keep up. Every time he scored, I didn't feel angry. Just wanted to do better. Every time I stole the ball, Aaron didn't lose his temper. Just smiled with the corner of his mouth. Everything lighter. One play. Aaron broke past me, driving toward the basket. I chased, jumped to block. Contact. We both lost our balance. Fell. I hit the ground first. Aaron landed on top of me. The distance. Too close. I could hear his breathing. Warm. Rapid. Eyes met eyes. Neither of us moved. Time seemed to stop. I didn't know what was happening. I only knew that my heart was beating faster than it should have been. Not from exertion. Aaron was the one who pulled away first. He stood up, turned aside. Get up, his voice slightly rough. I sat up, brushed off the dust. Said nothing, but the air had changed. We kept playing. But neither of us was as focused as before. The sun began to set. The light dyed the court a faint orange. Let us stop, Aaron said. I nodded. We stood there, breathing, quiet. I won, he said. I smiled. Not sure about that. Aaron looked at me, a very faint smile. Next time. Next time. Those 2 words sounded perfectly ordinary, but for us, they meant there would be another meeting. Not to fight. Yeah, I said. We left the court together. Neither spoke, but our steps were slower than usual. At the school gate, we stopped. Which way is your house? Aaron asked. I pointed left. Yours? Right. A pause. So, I started. Aaron nodded. Yeah. No need to finish the sentence. We went our separate ways. I'd taken a few steps. Then I turned back. Aaron hadn't gotten far yet. Hey, I called. He turned. Practice again? I asked. Aaron looked at me. His eyes this time. No longer cold. Next week, he said. I nodded. And this time, when I turned to leave, I didn't feel heavy. Just light. As if I'd just stepped over something. Not clearly defined, but significant. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I thought about Aaron. Not about the fights, not about the insults, but about the way he looked at me, the moment we lay on the court together.